Hello, my name is Benjamin Krupp, and this is my presentation on how to determine evaluation and management codes. I'm excited to do this presentation because when a patient goes to the doctor, whether they're a new patient or an existing patient, there could be 5 different CPT codes that you could use, and I always thought it was just your best guess. I didn't realize that there was actually a metric, a way of evaluating the patient and physician interaction to determine which code is correct. So I was excited to do this. So what we're going to cover is some basic abbreviations that you'll see in evaluation and management in that section of the CPT handbook. We'll also cover symbols and punctuations, what they mean when you read that portion of the CPT code book. And then we'll talk about the 4 different metrics that you use to determine which CPT code is correct. And then finally, I've included 2 tools, one for new patients and one for existing patients. And you can use those tools to help figure out which code is correct. So, first thing in evaluation and management is there's a lot of different abbreviations. And these are the 10 most common that I found, and I want to go over them real quick. So E/M for evaluation and management. PFS stands for personal, family, and social history. You'll see that abbreviated quite a bit. ROS is review of systems. MDM is medical decision making. PF stands for problem focus. EPF is expanded problem focused. DET stands for detailed, COMP stands for comprehensive, SF stands for straightforward, and HPI stands for history of present illness. So the symbols and punctuations that you'll see if you read through the evaluation and management section of the CPT handbook. There's going to be about 6 different symbols, and I wanted to go over what each one means. STAR is used in codes that can be used for telemedicine. If you add the modifier 95, that dash 95 at the end of it. The pound sign is used to identify codes that are listed out of sequence. That the American Medical Association makes a new CPT book every year, or revises it. And sometimes codes are deleted, some are added, and if it's out of sequence, that pound symbol is going to let you know. The plus symbol is used to identify codes that can be added on to another code. A lot of times this plus symbol code is used with a code that stands for a certain block of time. We use a code to indicate that a doctor saw a patient for 60 minutes. And then underneath it is a plus and another code if the doctor needed to spend another 30 minutes and another after that. So that plus code is used for codes that can be added on. The 2 green arrows facing each other indicates revised text. The red circle indicates it's a brand new code. Like I said, there's a new book every year that the American Medical Association puts out. And that red circle will indicate it's a brand new code. And the blue triangle means that it's been revised. The text next to that code has been revised. That's what that means. So, when you go to assign a CPT code, like I said, it's not just your best guess. There's actually 4 different components that go into choosing which is the correct code. First is history, the second is exam, the third is medical decision making, and the 4th is time. I'll go over each one of these in the next few slides. So we'll start with history. You're going to read the patient's chart, and what you're going to be looking for is what kind of history. There's 4 different kinds. There's problem-focused, expanded problem-focused, detailed, and comprehensive. And there's different elements in here. There's of a patient's history. There's going to be previous illnesses and operations. There's going to be conditions that the family has. There's going to be allergies, immunizations, current medications, prior hospitalizations. All of these go into a patient's history. And what you'll do is you'll read the file and you'll try to figure out which one of these 4 over here, which one of these 4 options best describes the kind of history that the physician took. Problem-focused will be a brief history of the present illness, and there will be no review of systems and no past family or social history. Expanded problem-focused will be a brief history of the present illness. It'll be a problem-pertinent review of systems and no past family or social history. Detailed history will involve extended history of the present illness, extended review of systems, and pertinent past family and social history. And the last is comprehensive. That will involve an extended history of the present illness, complete review of systems, and complete past family and social history. So the next component is going to be the exam. And you'll once again read through the patient's chart and try to determine which one of the four options best describes the exam that the physician provided the patient. So there's going to be problem-focused, expanded problem-focused, detailed, and comprehensive. Only these things mean different things for exam than for history. The problem-focused, what you'll see is that the exam involved a review of 1 to 5 elements of one body system. Expanded problem-focused involves at least 6 elements examined in one body system. Detailed involves 2 elements from 6 different body systems being reviewed, and comprehensive is at least 2 elements of 9 different body systems being reviewed. So the last of the 3 main components, the fourth this time, but the last of the 3 main ones is medical decision making. And this can be hard to quantify, but do your best. There are 4 categories. There's straightforward medical decision making, low complexity, moderate complexity, and high complexity. So straightforward medical decision making involves minimal diagnosis, minimal to no data being reviewed, and minimal risks of complications or comorbidities. Low complexity involves limited diagnosis, limited data to be reviewed, and low risk of complications or comorbidities. Moderate complexity involves multiple diagnosis, moderate data to be reviewed, and moderate risk of complications and comorbidities. And high complexity involves extensive diagnoses, extensive data to be reviewed, and high risk of complications or comorbidities. So the last of the 4 components that go into deciding which is the right CPT code is time. And this can be slightly misleading. Most of us think of a doctor's office where the time spent is face-to-face. But when you're assigning other evaluation and management codes, if you're in a hospital, there could be a lot of time spent on a patient not in the patient's room. It could be on the floor. The doctor can be reviewing labs and x-rays away from the patient, and that time counts too when you're going to assign a code. That's something to remember. Okay, so this was one of the coding tools I was talking about. There's another one on the next slide for the existing patients. What will happen is I made this little tool. As you can see, there's all 5 codes for new patients that you can use in evaluation and management. There's 99201, 99202, 203, 204, and 205. And you'll read a patient's chart or their file, and what you'll do is you'll try to say their history. Was it problem focused, and you can put a check mark there, or was it detailed, whatever the level is, you put a check mark there. Then you'll go to the exam, and you'll try to determine what level of exam best, what description best fits the interaction that the patient had with the physician. Same with medical decision making and time. And what you'll do is you'll end up putting your check marks here, and for new patient coding, you'll have to choose the lowest of all. You might not have all the check marks on the same level, but you have to go with the lowest number. That's the rule in the CPT handbook, is that if you choose 99203, then it has all of these have to fit. So like I said, you could have a check mark here and then 2 here, but you're going to have to go with 99202 because it's the lowest. So as you can see on this screen, the established patient, it looks very similar. the codes even look very similar. There's only that fourth digit is the only one that's different. So you have 99211, 212, 213, 214, and 215. But this is slightly different. You'll put the check marks under the correct history, exam, and medical decision making and time. But according to the CPT code book, you just need to have 2 check marks for it to be the correct code. So you could put a check mark here under 99213, here and here, and then you could put another check mark up there for medical decision making, but you're going to go with this higher code because you get 2 check marks here. You have to have 2 components out of the 3 main ones, history, exam, and medical decision making. So in this case you can go slightly higher, but it has to match. You have to have 2 out of 3 components in order to use that code. And that's just me explaining what I just did. Well, that's my presentation. Thank you very much.